Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jack OATz the Goat. I have the worst luck when it comes to this YouTube and creating content stuff. I was actually doing this manga react review. As soon as the manga came out, I was uploading my last YouTube video, and as I was recording on my phone ran out of space, and so by the time that happened, the video was done uploading, and then I tried doing it on the camera, and then I realized I never hit record, so...
Down, get a hold of yourself!
Please let me handle this.
I'm gonna...
Calm down, now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down, get off yourself.
Doctor, you're on the phone. Everything's gonna fall right.
Sister, what do you know about all this?
Here I am. It's not an actual reaction, but I am still going to do a review because this chapter was freaking epic. Before I go into it, like and subscribe. I just dropped a music video. Please, I really want you to go look at that. Tell me what you think. Leave it in the comment section below. Leave a like if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. And subscribe, please. I really want to grow this page, like I keep saying. But let's get into this because when we open up the manga, we get straight into the action. So everyone's on the battlefield at this point, except for Yami and Charlotte, who are pretty hugged up inside of the demon's magic, and the only thing keeping them alive is Charlotte's briars. So they're kind of out of the picture, but they did explain that they're okay. So the Emperor comes up. Austin, automatically recognize him because they live in the village, and they literally look at the demon bone or the demon skull with the wizard Emperor up there. And it's funny they call him Emperor and not King. So like he was like the highest, I guess. So he shows up with Sekre, and Sekre explains that her abilities were to open and close things. And then when she met Lumiere, the wizard emperor, he helped her grow and refine that magic so that what she seals can be unsealed. So by explaining this, she shows how she's able to unseal Licht's soul, because it wasn't fully awakened like it was explained a few chapters ago. When Patri's on the battlefield as well, with Austin, So they awaken Licht, the Demon Dweller sword starts glowing like crazy, and Licht and Lumiere have this moment, this romantical moment of, they're so happy to see each other, because the last time they saw each other, everyone had died. The Wizard Emperor's sister and Licht's lover with their kid were all dead. And they didn't get to exchange final words, so they kind of make up for it there very simply. Licht just looks at him thankfully and says thank you. And then the devil starts laughing at them, saying, "That's really touching, but I'm going to give you guys a proper burial, the one I should have given you 500 years ago." So they do that whole like anime thing where they say like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat your butt." Oh, but someone else has something to say, so I'm gonna let them talk. So he says that, and then Patri comes over, and he's looking at Licht, and I really like this exchange because it was very like father-sonish, and Licht reveals that he saw everything from the depths of his soul's slumber, everything that Patri did, and they show kind of like flashes in the background of each panel of the things that Patri did in this effort to carry out this plan that he thought was the right thing. So Licht says, 500 years ago we all fell for the demon's evil scheme. I have hurt many innocent people in my despair, and it was Lumiere who stopped me from causing any more harm. So he's talking about when he turned into a demon by accident, when he couldn't control his despair. And he says, and no matter what form you took, there were those who stopped you from descending further as well. So he's as he's saying this, we have the panel of Patri with Asta and Yino on his side, and he's referring to the fact that Asta and Yino saved him. They're both humans, and this is what Licht was trying to build a bridge for humans and elves to work together meaningfully, and the answer was always right there in front of him, and he's even using a human's body. So he continues and says, Patri, for you, you may be wielding your blade for the sake of justice, but to those you point your blade to, what you are doing may be the most atrocious of crimes. But even if all this is unforgivable, even if you made a mistake, I've always wanted to tell you, you did well. And then he embraces him, and Patri starts to cry. So I really like it. Licht gives it to him straight. He doesn't, beat around the bush at all. He says, what you did was really ugly, and when it comes down to it, it just didn't make sense to what Licht really stood for. And he was looking too. He was too in his feelings, and it was almost a selfish endeavor. But he couldn't see the bigger picture. But he still understands him in a sense. So, he's not upset per se with him. So once that whole thing is done, they turn to the devil and they're like, all right, let's do this. Let's whip some booty. I don't even like that word. I don't know why I said it. So the devil's like, no, guys. And he unleashes that magic that we've already seen. And he's like, swallow them all up. And then we just see this whole, there's zigzags of just magic and ping, ping, and poof. Licht and Lumiere are just zooming around this battlefield, battling the devil. It looks like at extreme high speeds, where Asta and everyone's just like in awe at what's going on. But the devil says something really, really interesting that I really want to dive into if I have a little time at the end of this review. So he says, they took in the magic of this world and scattered that world's magic. And that world's is bold. So they're doing that anime like, I can't say the thing because it's going to be a thing later. And I just want to keep the audience on edge until it's revealed. So it's that world's. So I'll say it again. So they say that they took in the magic of this world and scattered that world's magic. A user of the highest levels of forbidden magic, which is Lumiere, and a person who absorbs said magic, which is Licht with his demon sword. So it seems they took some influence from, again, that world. So what world is he talking about? Is it the afterlife? Something else? What I think is interesting that I'm going to get into just a little bit here is that they are talking about things that relate to the 9 worlds in Norse mythology. And if you want to know more about it, I'm going to go into a little bit here, but I'm going to put the link in the description below. Go to Broken No Hero's page. He's done a lot of research already on this theory of Black Clover being closely related to Norse mythology, and they've put some pretty blatant hints into the show where I'm comfortable saying this is where the story's headed. But he's got some interesting hypotheses and just some cool little theories if you want to go check him out. But I looked up online and did a little bit of research, nothing too in-depth. But something, again, Broken No Hero also goes into is someone like Yami and his possible origin story. So in the 9 worlds, you have all these different creatures. You have elves, specifically light elves, humans, giants, also known as Jotuns, Vanir, who are witch/god sorcerer things, just all sorts of different things on very different levels. And then you have Asgard, of course, where the gods are. So I was reading on Jotunheim, which is the home of the giants, and it says here, that Jotunheim is the home of the giants, who are also called Jotuns. Jotunheim consists mostly of rocks, wilderness, and dense forests, and it lies in the snowy regions on the outermost shores of the ocean. So I want to take that, and I want you guys to remember when we got a little bit of Yami's backstory with when he met Julius. Julius had found him washed up from the ocean. He was on a boat, and I'm on a boat. Don't you ever forget. He had been out at sea, and he pretty much got stranded out at sea and washed up onto their land, and he didn't even speak any of their language. So what's interesting is the description of where they live, right? Jotunheim consists mostly of rocks, wilderness, and dense forests. So think about where the Black Bull's base is. There are rocks for them to train with. There are dense forests. It's in the middle of a dense forest. So it's Yami's home, and think about what that is. It's not a coincidence for sure, because Julius really wanted to make Yami feel at home. So what better than to create, maybe he didn't create it, but recreate a home, if you will. So have that base be Yami's, home. And it's on the outermost shores of the ocean, and they live mostly off the fish from the rivers and the animals from the forests, because there's no fertile land where it's all frozen. So this explains a lot, and it even says in his backstory that he got lost at sea while fishing. So, I mean, there's a lot of lines and dots to connect. So it also says the giants, and I can't say some of these things, so forgive me. Aesir are constantly fighting, but it also happens from time to time that love affairs will occur. This is some irrelevant stuff about Odin and Thor. But if you want to hear more about Odin and Thor and their correlation with luck, Broken No Hero, go check that out. So there's strong indications that Yami could in fact be a Jotun from Jotunheim, who got stranded out at sea and ended up where he was. Where we speculate, if we use the Nine World Theory, he landed in Midgard, where all the humans are. Then we have Vanaheim, which is home of the Vanir. And Vanaheim, jeez, man, these are really hard. Vanaheim is the home of the Vanir gods. The Vanir gods is an old branch of gods. The Vanir are masters of sorcery and magic. They are also widely acknowledged for their talent to predict the future. Nobody knows exactly where the land of Vanaheim is located, or even how it looks. So, what does that remind you of, or who does that remind you of? It sounds a lot like Vanessa, right? We already know that the witch forest is already hard to find, so that kind of correlates with what it's saying there. But it goes on to say that they're known for their talent to predict the future. Now, this isn't something that the witches were shown to be able to do, but it also explains why Vanessa was so special to the Witch Queen, and why she was kept in a cage and held dear to the Witch Queen. Because it seems that Vanessa has some ancient witch or sorcerer blood within her, which we see that she does have pretty much full say on what happens in the future, almost, as she hones in on that magic. And then we get a little paragraph on what's called Alfheim, which is home of the Light Elves. So the home of the Light Elves is right next to Asgard in the heaven. The Light Elves are beautiful creatures. They are considered the guardian angels. The god Freyr is the ruler of Alfheim. The Light Elves are minor gods of nature and fertility. They can help or hinder humans with their knowledge of magical powers. They also often delivered an inspiration to art or music. So this, I think this is the proof in the pudding. This is exactly what we see with the elves. They are helping humans with their honing in on their inventions and their magic. And they are, in fact, gods of nature. They even explain that when they explain what the elves are exactly. And then to go on to say that they're inspirations to art or music, we haven't seen much of the music side, but the arts we've seen from who other than Rill. Rill is clearly blessed with mana. He's got the hair of an elf, if you will. He's got the white hair. And, of course, his whole magic stick is art. I mean, I think it all says it here that this is where this story is going, and we're going to see more of the 9 worlds. We even have the world, I don't see it on here, where the dwarves live, where we're going to learn about where Charmy comes from. But really good stuff to look into if you really want to do the research. I might do more videos on it, but I mean, I think Broken No Heroes got that covered, so I don't feel like I have to. Go click the link, subscribe to the channel, like all of his videos. He's really good. But back to what was going on in this manga. So they're shooting magic at the devil, they're deflecting it, it just looks crazy, like a laser circus, right? And then they get to a point where Licht is able to blindside the devil and come behind him with the sword raised. He swings down at him, but it was a feint. Lumiere pierces the devil right through his center with a light sword, just like he did to Licht when he was in his human form. Now, this caught the devil off guard, but he reacts really fast. He's not really phased. He says a spell from his grimoire, and a trident appears, it's all black, chops off Lumiere's arm. And Lumiere is shook about it. Licht is worried as crap, and Sekre she actually has an expression on her face, so that should say a lot about the scene. The thing is that this trident, lo and behold, is anti-magic. And it shattered the light sword. So now we can confirm that this anti-magic is for sure a demonic trait. Because there were some things up in the air that we couldn't actually make that a demonic trait because this demon was not showing any anti-magic qualities. But now, with this grimoire, it's apparent that this is something they can do with the grimoire. So he says, the devil says, being able to fight me to this extent is impressive, but there's only so much you can do against me. Now that I have a body and a grimoire, nothing can kill me. And who else pops in the picture other than Asta right on time? And he's right in the devil's face, blocking his anti-magic trident with, of course, his anti-magic sword. And he says, as if, and he's ready to go toe-to-toe with this guy. Then we see, it looks like he's prepping up for his magic spell. So everyone's like, oh crap, this kid has anti-magic stuff. And then we have Sekre just kind of like back with her narrow face, just like, because she already knows that Asta is the one who's well equipped for this battle. So then we hit the end of the chapter. This chapter was awesome. It was action-packed. It had its moments that was needed for this chapter to be complete. I really love this chapter. I can't, of course, wait for the next chapter. But I do want to address some other things. A lot of people have complaints about Black Clover, which is totally fine. You're totally allowed to have your opinion. But the thing is that a lot of the complaints I hear about Black Clover is how basic of a story it is, and how broken Asta is, and how he's just convenience for every single battle, which is true. But the fact of the matter is that this is still in the beginning phases. We have to build up the characters, which this series does an absolute amazing job building its characters. So this demon, I already know, is going to become quick fodder. He's just a means to an end to wrap up a quick and simple story. so that we can get into a bigger picture and what's really going on in the world of Black Clover. Because remember, we still have 3 other kingdoms that we have to worry about. It's just like a deck of cards. We have the Clover Kingdom, we met the Diamond Kingdom, which we still need to kind of delve in on because there is an obvious dispute between the Clover Kingdom and the Diamond Kingdom. Then we have Spade and Heart, which hopefully we do get into because that's kind of cool to make the show like that. But then, if this 9 Worlds theory is true, we're gonna have to see a lot more, and we're gonna be seeing, if the 9 Worlds theory is true, a lot of different things. And I think if, especially what Broken No Hero is saying, we're gonna be seeing gods come out and play, and it's gonna get really, really, really good very fast, and I'm predicting it's gonna have a very intricate story, just like when we got the time skip from Naruto into Shippuden. The story was no longer that simple. There was a lot of gray areas that we kind of had to make sense of, and very fine points to be made in some of the storyline in Naruto Shippuden. So Black Clover is nearing that phase. I don't think there's going to be necessarily a time skip, but there's definitely going to be quick development, story development, and we're going to move right into the next thing because we still have to know where the demon in Asa's grimoire came from, because it should have been this demon, but it's not. So, with that said, this chapter was freaking sick. Like a 8 out of 10. I just wanted a little more action. I think it's going to translate really well in anime. It's just so much to draw when you have guys that are traveling literally at like light speed on manga, because then it's just a bunch of black and white lines and rays and stuff. So I can't wait to see it animated. Of course, it's not going to be animated for like 3 years, because that's how things work. But let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. I really want to know, so put it in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video, subscribe. Again, go check out my last video. It's a music video. I did a cover of Payphone, and I messed up and everything, but I played Taylor Swift, because that's what you do when you mess up, is you play Taylor Swift. So, I think that's all I have to say to you guys right now. Yeah, no, I'm done. Did you like and subscribe yet? I'm going to stare at you until you do it. Do it! This is Jack Goes to Go. Signing out.